Hello, welcome to Plus Ultra. Today I thought I'd talk about my journey as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. I'm a 4-stripe white belt, so here's my belt here. Just recently got my 4th stripe, so pretty happy about that. But I thought I'd just take you through what my thoughts are, my journey, and what the future holds as well. Please like and subscribe to get more Jiu-Jitsu content. This channel is just going to be about stuff that I like, so tune into whatever videos that you guys enjoy. But today I thought I'd talk about my Jiu-Jitsu journey. I've just got this around my neck for the thumbnail, so I'll get rid of that. But so I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu for just over a year now, probably 13 months, so not much. It's been awesome. Firstly, it's just been the best gift I have ever had the opportunity of taking on board for myself. I wish I did it a long time ago when I was younger. I think that's a pretty common thought with a lot of people that do jiu-jitsu, unless you start off as a kid or a teenager. A lot of us start off, we've got careers, we've got other priorities, but I'm so glad I managed to call up the gym and just after COVID and say, look, sign me up. I'm glad it was that time. Otherwise, COVID, I know, played a big havoc in other people's jiu-jitsu journey. I started as soon as COVID was over. So, yeah, I'm glad I didn't have a 2-year break. Regardless, I would have liked to have kept training or at least had an idea of what was involved. So that's when I started. It's been a pretty interesting journey. It's very similar to a lot of white belts and new practitioners to the sport. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, injuries, breaks. No major injuries, luckily. Work getting in the way, life getting in the way. It's gives me it's a big eye opener to the guys that have been doing this day in, day out for years and years, and the black belts as well, and getting to that level. Yeah, you see what goes into maintaining this as sport and as a lifestyle, because that's what it is. It's something that you can't just pick up and drop. It's something that you need to sort of maintain and live with. But so about a year ago I thought I'd call up the local gym, joined, did my first trial class, and mate, I sucked big time. It was pretty hilarious. I had at one point done a fair bit of sport, soccer, cricket. Never did any martial arts growing up, unfortunately. So to say this was a big step for me, it was pretty intimidating. I'd say it's intimidating, but I was keen. I just wanted to jump into it and give it a go. But I could tell, for people that have never done martial arts and jumping into something like this in their more senior years, then it could be a bit of a shock. But the first class, I thought, I go to the gym. I'm pretty big and strong. I thought I'd be okay. Mind you, I've been following MMA. I watched the UFC a fair bit, so I was into a bit of a casual fan. I was into boxing as well, but really big shock to the system. The warm up was a big shock as well. Just how inflexible I was and how slow. It was absolutely terrible. But as soon as we started getting into the drills, the session, and we did a couple of rolls, mate, I was hooked. It was a point in my life where I knew I wanted to do jiu-jitsu. I did a lot of research on it. Naturally, watching the UFC, that was always something that I really wanted to try. So usually with me, I've got an addictive personality, and when I commit hard. So I went in and I said, well, I'm just going to give this my best shot. I'm committing to this sport, but I never thought I'd love it as much as I did. The first lesson, awesome. I think that's a high for everyone. Some people, if they're not into it, first lesson, they say, no, sorry, it's not for me, take off. The guys that are into it, then, you're naturally very much keen. You look up all the YouTube, you watch jiu-jitsu clips all the time. So I think it's something naturally you can get addicted to. And that was my journey. Initially, went to 4 or 5 classes a week, and inevitably you start to get a few sprains and injuries, just niggling things. Like I was getting tendonitis in my elbow. I think that was the first thing that was starting to go, just from overuse. It was the only thing, so I would strap it up, keep going to the gym, and yeah, my progress was really good, as you would expect for a white belt. I mean, you're learning a lot of the techniques, learning what mount is, guard, side control, and you're like a sponge gathering all that information. So it was really awesome. And then when my arms started to get sore, I thought, I better slow this down. Need better recovery between sessions as well, which helped. The tendonitis probably lasted for a good 3 or 4 weeks. I'd come home, put the ice on, get the massage gun, and it was torture for a little while until my body got used to it. And then just learning the techniques was a big eye opener. I'm pretty sort of stocky and don't have the longest legs or arms as well. So had to find out what worked for me, what didn't work for me. Like a triangle, like the photo you can see in the background, is probably not really my game. I could never really get into a position. I couldn't. Playing guard isn't really my strength. But even getting into something like a triangle was tricky. But kept going to the gym, was having fun, really eye opener. Like I remember the first time a blue belt grabbed me by the collar. Mind you, a blue belt isn't sort of the highest level, but I remember a blue belt grabbed me by the collar, and I went, "Holy crap! What the hell is this?" Because you just feel, if you're not used to grappling, you're not used to people grabbing you that way and making you feel, no matter how big you are, makes you feel sort of small. But it's almost like a gorilla strength. You went, "Oh crap, this is crazy." So collar grip, and I went, "Wow, that's a lot of." You could tell there was a lot of power in there. Then I started trying with purple belts. There wasn't a brown belt at that stage at the gym, but there was a lot of higher 4-stripe purple belts. They're brown belts now. Some of the brown belts, there was one brown belt that came back. It was a coach, a professor now. But purple belts and 4-stripe blue belts were the tricky guys at the gym. But you could tell they were just mucking around, taking it easy. If you're new to jiu-jitsu and you're intro, you're like a kitten. You've got no idea of any of the moves. So even if you have strength, you don't know where to apply strength. You sort of just hold on for dear life. So that went on for a month or so, but then I started to pick it up pretty quickly. Start to get comfortable in positions. And then the inevitable plateaus happen. Sometimes you might have a project at work. You might have some life issue that pops up. You get sick, you miss a week, come back, and then a week away at jiu-jitsu, believe it or not, a week away at jiu-jitsu is probably like taking 3 months off the gym, lifting weights. It's unbelievable how much taking a week off makes a difference. And it might be different as you go higher. Again, I'm still a white belt, but a week away from the gym really affects you as well. I'm not the fittest person, so it affects your cardio. You sort of need to be in that groove. So a few ups and downs like that, a few areas where I'd get stuck on techniques and I just wouldn't get it. I would be there at the gym and I'd just zone out because I had a busy day at work, and then it would come to the drills and I'll just go blank. That was difficult, and it felt like the techniques weren't working a lot of the times. And I think that was just me being too eager, trying to rush things, trying to get the submissions. And it really took maybe when I was a 3-stripe white belt to really dial that back and understand, well, look, training is training. Come here, be open, be exposed. Don't worry about getting tapped out. Don't worry about getting choked out. Just, just turn up, learn, use the technique, just trust the technique and use the technique. And that's super difficult because sometimes it feels like it just doesn't work. It just feels like, I'm trying to do this technique and, trying to transition from side control. How the hell do I get to mount? Or the escapes are probably the most difficult thing. You're in someone's side control. How the hell do I frame and get my knee and create frames there, and how do I escape mount, and these things just really can frustrate you as well. It is very frustrating, and then you sort of have to humble yourself and trust the technique, keep practicing the techniques, try not to be too worried about subs and trying to get the better of someone. And then more recently now, I've just putting myself in the worst positions to try and just escape from as well. It'll probably be once a week that I would try and go in and try and dominate a role, try and get some subs, but otherwise, I just expose myself to bad positions and try and escape out of it as well, which is what they teach you to do, and it's what you're supposed to do as a white belt and blue belt. It's escapes, practice your escapes, and then as a purple belt above, you can practice your submissions and everything else, and really fine tune your jiu-jitsu. But as a white belt, you can get a bit carried away trying to say, oh, I'm a 3-stripe or 4-stripe, I got to do this. At the end of the day, you're a white belt, blue belt, you're still learning. So you got to put your ego away, listen to the coaches, the professors, listen to YouTube, for example. There's some awesome interviews where a lot of higher belts have been through the same process. But yeah, so I'm finding myself now in a good rhythm and in a better space mentally, where I'm enjoying jiu-jitsu quite a lot as well, and trying to continue to practice my escapes, trying to put myself in bad positions, and really take training for what it is, take sparring for what it is, take rolling for what it is, try not to stretch myself too much, and then really try and find what game works for me as well. And then that opportunity where I have a plan to go into a role and I say, right, this role, all I'm going to do is escape, and then I might pick one day where I say, all right, let me just play a more dynamic game to really enjoy myself. That's where I'll go in for subs and really try and put the pain on other guys as much as I can anyway. But yeah, I mean, jiu-jitsu has been amazing from a mental health perspective, from a stress relief perspective, from a perspective of giving me a hobby that I can look forward to despite a hard day at the office, despite anything else that's going on in my life. It's a great anchor for me physically and mentally to work towards. And really, unlike team sport, it's just you versus you, and it's really challenging yourself. And outside of jiu-jitsu as well, focusing on my diet, focusing on my fitness, outside of jiu-jitsu, going to the gym, doing some more healthy activities, and picking the best, most beneficial activities to help my jiu-jitsu in terms of dieting, which I still need to work on. But these are all things that jiu-jitsu really helps you as well. So look, it's been an awesome journey. Next belt would be the big one, or for a big one for a beginner anyway, but I'm just concentrate on doing the best I can, and I'm really keen to do a competition as well. I don't want to get my next promotion until I do a comp, so that's something that I need to work towards. I have to pick one, maybe give myself till March, maybe February, March. It's December now, it's almost the New Year's, but I've got a long way to go to train. I'm pretty heavy, so I'll probably be in the heavyweights category, which will be tricky. I need to really get better at my pin escapes before I commit myself to a competition. End of the day, win or lose, I'd still like to do a competition, but I'd like to come out of that with some bling if possible. So that's my idea. I really am wanting to go in with a winning attitude and an idea of winning. So that's my next step. Train for a comp, get better at stand-up game. Man, single leg takedowns, double legs is just sexy, and I want to really get really good at those as well before I get into a competition. I wouldn't say I'm too far away. I need to work my fitness. That's a big thing. That's going to really help me as well. But yeah, that just comes with rolling. That's another thing as well. You can come to class, do the drills, but you have to roll. Sometimes I was shying away from it out of injury or laziness, but my jiu-jitsu, every time I hit a plateau, I just roll more, and it just skyrockets. Just my training skyrockets, my ability to take on knowledge and put into practice things. Knee on belly is my favorite go-to now as well, and just rolling that, training that, it's just been such an easy move for me. So yeah, that's my journey so far. I'm more than happy to go into other details on jiu-jitsu as well, what it's done for me, what it continues to do for me as well. But it's been an amazing hobby for me so far, and I hope to continue it for a long time. Thank you, and please like and subscribe for more content. Cheers.